America. And joining me now to debate this important topic, Republican Congressman Tom Cotton of Arkansas and Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California. Gentlemen, welcome to Hannity.
Hi, Sean. Thanks.
All right,
Thank you for having me on for the first time.
Well, welcome aboard, both of you. Two young congressmen, and glad you're here. Congressman Swalwell, you support gun control?
You know, I support gun safety measures, and I'll tell you, I grew up in a family of gun owners and hunters, and I went hunting with my dad as a kid, and, you know, I have deep respect for the Second Amendment and the culture in our country. But I don't think we can look at what's happened and say that we shouldn't do anything at all. And the cost of doing nothing is that nothing will change. And
well, so what do you want to do? Give us specifics, because a lot of Americans, gun owners, as you can see, they're racing to the store, they're buying more guns than ever before, because they feel, and I agree with them, that we are about to see very restrictive measures that are about to be put on us. What do you support?
I support an assault weapons ban, and I'll tell you why. We already have one in California, so I don't support doing anything above what we do in California. And you made a great example of, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to ban booze next? Well, when we started to look at drunk driving deaths in our country 30 years ago, we raised the age at which our teenagers could drink to 21.
We didn't take it away, though, did we? We didn't ban it. We didn't restrict it. We didn't fingerprint people.
But we put sensible measures on. We lowered the blood alcohol content level. And what we saw over the last 30 years is drunk driving deaths came down. So I think sensible, reasonable measures can be made.
All right, let me ask you, this is one sensible measure. Because for example, our president, by the way, rightly so, our cabinet members, politicians, Hollywood stars, our money, your money in a bank is protected with an armed guard. When Wayne LaPierre brought up the idea of, say, a retired police officer looking for a job and would be in a school, is that such a silly idea? Can we?
Well, Sean,
is that a bad idea?
My father is a retired police officer. My little brother is a police officer. I don't get armed protection. But, you know, I do support allowing our retired police officers to carry concealed weapons. I don't think that's a bad idea.
I'm saying hiring them in a school to prevent that from happening. We have laws. You can't bring guns into schools. We have laws that prevent criminals from using them. We have laws that say mentally ill people can't have them. So
and the president has said all options are on the table. I support the president. We need to look at everything. And, you know, my concern about putting them in schools is who's going to pay for that. Our children right now are already suffering from budget cuts.
Obviously not you guys. You're broke. Congressman Cotton, welcome you to the program. But this is a really serious issue, and obviously now the left feels energized. Is there any law that would have been passed beforehand that you can think of, Congressman Cotton, that would have prevented the tragedy? For example, Columbine happened after the last assault weapons ban. Any law that you think would have prevented this?
Sean, I don't think there are gun control measures that could have prevented the Newtown killings or most other mass murders. One key measure we could, though, adopt is to prevent the dangerously mentally ill from getting firearms in the first place. And that's where some of the key solutions will come, I believe. For instance, the national background check system is woefully inadequate when it comes to mental illness records. We need to reform health privacy laws so adult children or doctors can ensure that authorities are aware of the dangerously mentally ill. We also need to help states adopt assisted outpatient treatment programs. We're not going to go back to the regime of institutionalizing the mentally ill on mass levels that we had pre-1960s, but we need to make sure that they're getting the treatment they deserve. You know, Connecticut, for instance, had an assault weapons ban. As Eric says, California has an assault weapons ban. It also bans large capacity magazines. But there's no evidence that those bans or the assault weapons ban at the federal level from 1994 to 2004 had any measurable effect on crime.
Yeah, you know, and
well, I would say, Sean, when was the last time that major media were in California for a mass shooting? So, you know, we are seeing.
I was there during the Stockton killing many years ago.
That was before our assault weapons ban.
I understand. I was out there, but listen, if by their very nature, Congressman, criminals do not obey laws, and what we're talking about here is impinging on the rights of law-abiding citizens, to the 99.9%, and it's not going to solve the problem of those that are intent on killing people. You're not taking away people's alcohol. You're not taking away their cars. You're not grounding aircraft, all of which are dangerous. Al Sharpton said if the next incident happens with a knife, we're going to have knife control in America. How far do you go with this logic of yours?
Well, what Congressman Cotton said, and he's a military hero who I have deep respect for. I don't disagree with anything that Congressman Cotton said as far as a comprehensive bill that looks at mental health treatment.
Everything's
that's
comprehensive.
Important.
Yeah.
Yes, and that has to be on the table as well. I was a prosecutor, Sean, for 7 years, and I know you're right. We cannot end and get rid of all mass shootings, but we can take reasonable measures that can bring it down.
If you say you shoot guns, I've been, and by the way, I was outed today as a gun owner because I have a licensed carry permit. Other people in New York, I would assume as a congressman and believe in the right of privacy, that you think that's wrong. Am I right about that?
That you were outed as a
in other words, it was printed on a website that I have a licensed carry permit. I've had it more than half of my adult life. Do you think that's appropriate?
If it violated privacy rights, sure, it's wrong.
But does that violate privacy rights? Do you think I should have the right? Do you believe in my right to privacy? And my family's right to privacy?
I do. And if it went through the proper channels for disclosure, then it was right. If it didn't, it was wrong.
If it did, you didn't answer the question. Do you think that's wrong morally?
That you were outed as a gun owner?
Yeah.
I think having a national system that tracks who owns guns is fine. I don't think we need to be printing it on the internet.
It's nobody's business. I'm a law-abiding citizen. It's not my. And you know, for liberals that claim they believe in a right to privacy, but this debate is obviously going to be very, very intense in the days to come. Thank you both for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Coming up, the audacity of the president was on full display yesterday with